Passive-aggressive behavior can show up in a bunch of ways. Backhanded compliments, sarcasm, silent treatment, evading issues, withholding, indirect refusal, moody behavior, learned helplessness, making wistful comments, using unnecessarily simple language or condescending tones to undermine someone's intelligence or competence, procrastination/not finishing tasks, lateness, exclusion, making excuses, and ghosting. Silent treatment. The silent treatment is simply not talking to someone who has upset you. People will use their silence to let others know they did something they do not agree with. This is a way of refusing to verbally communicate why they feel hurt, leaving the other person to figure out why they are mad. This behavior withholds attention while avoiding direct conflict, which may be more uncomfortable for someone to deal with. Silence can be read as passive-aggressive in certain contexts. For example, someone may refuse to respond during an argument. This is known by relational psychologists as stonewalling, Gottman, 2010. Similarly, ignoring a question or simply never replying to a message. All in all, silence when a response is warranted is often considered passive aggression. Evading issues. People who evade issues avoid addressing problems directly, often pretending everything is fine when it's not. This behavior stems from a reluctance to deal with emotions or confront difficult situations head-on. Instead of openly discussing concerns, they may deflect or minimize issues. Examples of evading issues in a passive-aggressive manner include repeatedly saying, "I'm fine," when clearly upset, forcing others to guess at the problem. Changing the subject when an important topic is brought up, avoiding necessary discussions. Giving vague or non-committal responses to direct questions, preventing resolution of conflicts. This evasion can lead to unresolved tensions and frustration in relationships, as important issues remain unaddressed and emotions unexpressed. Moody behavior. While occasional moodiness is normal, consistently using sullen or irritable behavior to communicate dissatisfaction without addressing the underlying issue is a form of passive aggression. This tactic allows the person to express negative emotions indirectly while avoiding clear communication about their feelings. Examples of passive-aggressive moody behavior include giving short, curt responses when upset, making it obvious something is wrong without discussing it. Slamming doors or stomping around to show anger, rather than expressing it verbally. Withdrawing emotionally and becoming distant to punish someone, without explaining why. This behavior often leaves others walking on eggshells, trying to guess what's wrong. It can create a tense atmosphere and hinder productive problem-solving in relationships. Making wistful comments. Wistful comments indirectly express desires or criticisms without taking responsibility for them. This passive-aggressive tactic allows the speaker to voice dissatisfaction while avoiding direct requests or confrontations, often inducing guilt or discomfort in others. Examples: "I wish I could afford a house like yours, but I don't earn as much as you." Implies criticism of the listener's wealth or spending habits. "It must be nice to have time for hobbies. Some of us have to work all the time." Indirectly criticizes the listener's work ethic or time management. "If only I had your confidence, I could speak up in meetings too." Subtly implies the listener is overconfident or domineering. Using unnecessarily simple language or condescending tones to undermine someone's intelligence or competence. This passive-aggressive behavior allows the speaker to assert superiority while maintaining a facade of helpfulness. Examples: explaining basic concepts with excessive detail to an experienced colleague, implying incompetence. Using pet names or diminutives in professional settings, undermining authority or status. Repeatedly asking, "Do you understand?" after simple explanations, suggesting intellectual inferiority. Exclusion. Using exclusion and isolating others can also be used as a way to show annoyance or hurt indirectly. Social exclusion can involve having a party and inviting everyone except the targeted person. Professional exclusion can include leaving someone out of a meeting or out of the loop on a deadline change. Ghosting. Suddenly cutting off communication without explanation, often used to avoid confrontation or express dissatisfaction indirectly. This passive-aggressive behavior allows individuals to end relationships or express anger without having to face the other person's reactions. Examples: abruptly stopping all contact after a date, avoiding direct rejection. Ignoring messages from a friend after a minor disagreement, expressing anger without confrontation. Disappearing from a project without explanation, indirectly expressing dissatisfaction with the work. Passive-aggressive behavior has harmful effects on the other person. This is compounded when the recipient has complex trauma. Dealing with passive-aggressive behavior can make it very difficult to regulate your emotions. There are many situational reasons that contribute to a person being passive-aggressive. Confrontation is uncomfortable. Responding to passive-aggressive behavior is tricky. Direct, gentle communication is recommended. If that isn't possible, it may be necessary to keep a wide berth. Treating each other like what you do is okay for you, and what I do is okay for me. Both people get to be autonomous and sovereign. This is balanced or equal. Saying, "I love my sound machine so noises don't really bother me. If someone is noisy I just turn it on and go back to sleep. Someone woke me up so I will be growly and snap at them when they try to help me. I won't tell them why I'm upset, I'll just make sure they know I'm mad and unapproachable." Not very equal. Someone woke me, so I'll let them know so they can keep it down. Gentle, direct communication, letting the other person know what you need. That's a great one. Good boundary work. I handle my own emotional regulation and treat the adults around me like adults. That's a nice equal one. My housemate is dysregulated and their door is shut, so after ambushing them upstairs I open that door that they are regulating behind. I say I knocked but they did not hear it and did not say, "Come in." Said he was there to bring me my coffee cup for the coffee I get upstairs. Despite several requests to be allowed to go back to regulating over it before engaging, I continue to engage them, missing their points repeatedly. When they ask again to be allowed to regulate I say, "I'm not stopping you," before I leave. It's certainly reinforced that I don't have the right to close the door when I need to regulate myself. I've always been held to someone else's standard before overdoing the dishes. I don't always have it in me to both cook and do the dishes. I do it when I can and am doing my best to build habits in a damaged child. I need the space for that to be okay without being judged for it. I need to come up for air. Wow, that's some boundary work. The trauma is explained. The physical need is explained. Then in response, "No, my mom taught us to unload the dishwasher as soon as it's done, and reload it." This could go either way. If the second person just does that differently, it's still equal. If the second person gets aggravated that the person isn't doing dishes on their schedule, that's pretty controlling. My housemate walks in or walks by, so I say good morning in an upbeat voice. I receive no response from my housemate and this happens on a regular basis. Oof, that makes it hard to even greet the person. My housemate says, "Hey, I can show you how to use the machines right so you're not using as much electricity. I don't even dry mine, I just let them dry in the closet, but I can show you how to use them so it's not so wasteful." My ADHD works with me best if I choose the shortest settings, but that's not how my housemate makes her decisions, so she wants me to do another thing her way, despite me asking to be free of that. Despite making sure everyone knows that it's going to be a long road to building some habits. Multiple family members feel the need to repeatedly tell me how light switches work, despite me knowing, and having decent habits around it, and knowing that I cannot go behind Ro everywhere to make sure they are turned off. There have been a lot of times that Ro has seen Adam in the shadows, and I've been working to honor her PTSD while building the habit. I just refuse to shame her for it, so since it's not happening fast enough I have the rest of the house talking to me like I don't understand how light switches and light bills work. Never mind that I built an entire Great Depression unit to introduce it in a gentle way, it's not happening fast enough. I enter a shared space where a conversation is taking place. I am very careful to not talk over anyone and wait for a pause to say something relatable to be prosocial. Both participants freeze without acknowledging that I spoke, and after a distinct awkward pause go back to speaking only to each other. I leave the room as quickly as I can and regret making the effort to go upstairs. The bathroom spikes my anxiety and triggers me, and I know that others around me have triggers too. I ask if we can come up with a plan that works with my anxiety and still honors the freedom that they need. Gentle direct communication for the win here. Telling my housemate, hey, I know you've had a really rough day, and I just want you to know that I see you still fighting and trying to get through it. And I'm proud of you. My roommate thanked me and told me that when she gets like that it's best to stay out her way. It's felt like that pretty consistently since. So I've really been trying to stay out of the way. Even when an interaction feels light it feels fake because this feels ongoing and unresolved. Saying, my mom is going to move out because you talk over here and she doesn't really enjoy interacting with you anymore. This corners the other person, and lets them know they need to second-guess their behaviors because the mother will not just tell them. She'll just be passive-aggressive. Expecting a child of 9, who has never had a break from manipulation, nitpicking and coercion to be all better within 4 months, and constantly levying judgment when the adults around her are still behaving passive-aggressively. It's caused several setbacks and instead of understanding for that there's more pressure without communication. This makes it incredibly hard to build those habits, and we're just now getting to a point where we're worked through enough of the trauma barriers to reach some cooperation. We've had several conversations back and forth about recycling cans, and I see my housemate in the garage smashing cans. I remember the can smasher we've been talking about, so I take a moment to go point it out, so we can get it up at some point, and get snapped at that my housemate is fine thanks. That's it, no further communication, so I go on my way and regret trying. Rose starts asking me regularly if Annie is mad at us again. I say I don't know, because I don't. I just wait for the ball to drop. In addition to the silent treatment in person, my housemate has stopped responding to any digital communication from me. She doesn't tell me why. I continue to try to connect. In addition to being told that my way of handling dishes is unacceptable, and having that perform through expectations of the child but with a constantly moving bar about when it needs to happen by, and told I do laundry wrong, and run the dishwasher wrong, I've also been informed that I don't pick up my own spaces enough, don't know to shut off light switches, don't keep the bathroom clean enough, can't get my child to build healthy habits fast enough. Abruptly asking the 9-year-old, you want to tell me what happened the other morning, and when Ro looks to me for support saying, no, I want to hear it from you, what happened? Being told that we're the reason our housemate started shutting her door after she had said it was in response to the cat hunting the kittens, and then being looked at like I'm absolutely nuts when I bring it up.